to discuss that government ban of laughing gas with Dr. David Nicol, who I believe can now hear me. So, Dr. Nicol, excuse me, talk us through your take on this. We've heard differing opinions and some that think this is a significant step too far by the government.
Don't get me wrong, I loathe this stuff. I absolutely loathe it with a passion. But it troubles me that they're not really listening to the experts. And the question I would have is, why are we not using the existing legislation? So, I reported police last September, many of the shops and things that actually you did the undercover reporting to. And it's a mystery to me. As far as I know, there haven't been arrests have taken place, basically. So in what way will this improve things? Why is the existing legislation been used? I suspect it's probably the police are overwhelmed dealing with, rapes, murders and stabbings. Why are we not focusing on the supply chain? For example, Smart Whips and Fast Gas are both Dutch companies. This could be the first time ever we have some Brexit benefits. They could have an import duty on this. And indeed, I've spoken to the Dutch government, Ministry of Justice and things, and the word ban is the incorrect term. You have a restricted distribution because there are legitimate reasons, like drag races, for example. So I think the devil is absolutely going to be in the detail. And
I was just going to say, if we go back a step quickly then, Dr. Nicol, why did you say that you absolutely loathe this stuff, first of all?
I absolutely loathe it because every week I'm seeing patients coming in with very serious neurological consequences as a result of taking nitrous oxide. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely hate it, but you're dealing with a very disenfranchised community. We need to think very carefully how will this improve things, or could that actually, could potentially make things worse if you've got a population that is pretty poor at engaging with healthcare professionals and you actually drive things underground. It could potentially make things worse, so it needs very, very careful thought. My question back to Michael Gove is, why are you not taking on the supply chain? I went back to one of the shops that you filmed in afterwards, and I could find, empty cylinders and balloons outside. That is all, those shops are a clear breach of the Psychoactive Drugs Act 2016. And no, in September, November, there had only been 4 arrests since that law in the West Midlands. So why are the police not making more arrests?
Maybe they should be, and maybe they will tackle the supply chain as well. It's interesting to hear you be so clear about the medical issues for those that do take this. Obviously, government policy is never perfect, and it has to address a broad issue. Would you like to see far, far, far lower use of this drug across this country? And therefore, can you understand why banning it is an attempt, potentially, by the government to make a statement for a new generation growing up? This is not something you should ever touch in the first place.
Absolutely. Well, we have got elections coming up, okay? I'm a Liberal Democrat, and, I think there's a politics to this as well. I think I can't, for example, see that how possession in a vehicle should be allowed, okay? And certainly, I know of car crashes across Birmingham. I can't see any legitimate possession there. But focus on the supply chain. There's an awful lot of people making a lot of money out of this. I'm aware of, franchises shops across Birmingham. I could take you there in 20 minutes, okay? Why are those not being closed down under the existing legislation?
Really interesting. Dr. David Nicol, thanks so much for joining us.